So I just finished watching the first 3 Arrancar arcs, and without a doubt, they are already the best arcs of Bleach so far. The Arrancar arc picks up from the Bound arc's only good moment, Shinji, or as I like to call him, Sonic the Hedgehog. Yes, Shinji has the same voice actor as Sonic the Hedgehog.
No copyright law in the universe is going to stop me!
And this guy has to be one of the coolest characters ever. I mean, look at him, he's walking upside down in the sky. You have no idea how cool that is. Okay, so from now on, it is blasphemy to call the Soul Society arc peak Bleach, and if you do, God will strike you down. I don't know what happened, but Taikubo must have cranked the hype meter up to 100 for this arc, cause shit is getting crazy. So right off the bat, Ichigo's dad Ishin, this goofy ass, is a Soul Reaper, and not just any Soul Reaper, a former captain. His reveal has to be one of the most badass ways to introduce a character, with him absolutely clapping a holo. What a perfect way to kick off this arc by getting me straight back into the action, making slogging through the Bound arc every bit worth it. You have no idea how happy I was to be done with the Bound arc. That has to be one of the worst anime experiences I have ever had, except that I'm not done with it apparently. And that brings me to one of my only real criticisms of these arcs. Why? Why is Studio Period trying to force the Bound arc to be canon?
Why are you doing this?
There was this really good scene where Ichigo is fighting to regain control from his inner hollow, and one of the people he has to face is Curry. Period, no, this is not okay. I don't want to ever see these characters again in my life.
And I don't want to see them ever again.
I don't mind the mod souls, but still, they shouldn't be here. I don't mind that they show up during other filler, but during the canon story, no. Get this shit out my face. It really hurts the experience because the Bound arc is filler and has no impact on the actual story. So integrating that into the canon story is a really stupid idea that accomplishes nothing but tarnishing Bleach's story. Stop reminding me the Bound arc exists and keep the Bound arc as it is, a filler. Speaking of filler, the mid-season fillers throughout the first 3 Arrancar arc were surprisingly good. I thought it did a great job of developing the characters, and the filler episodes themselves are not too long, so even the bad ones aren't as insufferable as the Bound arc because it's only a few episodes. The highlight of these mid-season fillers of the soccer game with Toshiro and Karin, where Toshiro harnesses his inner Lionel Messi. The filler provides Toshiro with some much needed character development, and it's just a genuinely feel-good episode. Then the Kon episode, which does a great job at humanizing Kon's character and helps show me he can be more than just the comedic relief. Lastly, the Kendo episode, which is the best filler episode I've watched yet and really highlights how funny Ikkaku can be. While on the topic of Ikkaku, this man is without a doubt the MVP of the first Arrancar arc. He is the funniest character in the first Arrancar arc and also had what is probably one of the best fights ever displayed in anime. I think they put their entire budget into this fight because the animation and art quality skyrockets in quality, with a very high amount of detail put into every frame of his fight. With plenty of hype moments like Ikkaku's Bankai reveal that really makes this fight my favorite one in the first Arrancar arc. And then you get to the third Arrancar arc and it's like, did you like the Ikkaku fight? Well, we have 1, 2, 3 fights that are on par with it. The first of these being Chad's fight against Gartenbein, where he reveals the power of his left arm, Del Diablo. Chad then proceeds to absolutely whoop Gartenbein's ass, with amazing face detail during this fight and ending with a massive attack that leaves a skull indent in the wall, really signifying the impact of the attack. The second fight is Slazapuro versus Renji and Uryu. This was an amazing fight with some crazy moments. It's an interesting duo that I really enjoyed seeing work together to try to defeat Slazapuro, as it goes against Ryuken's words and Uryu's hate for Soul Reapers. But the fight itself is awesome. With their backs against the wall, they come up with an insane plan, with Renji suicide bombing himself to buy time for Uryu's attack. Uryu then uses all the Seal Schneiders to absolutely incinerate Slazapuro, looking like a finisher straight out of Persona 5. The last of these fights is Grimmjow's final fight, which is a spectacular end to the third arc, with Ulquiorra getting banished to Florida right before the fight. Personally, I could do without the power of friendship in this fight, as it is a really overdone trope in anime, but the fight itself is really emotional, with it being intertwined with Grimmjow's backstory, and that power comes with a price, with Orihime initially being afraid of Ichigo and what he has become in order to save her, until Ichigo shows her that no matter what, he will always be Ichigo. In the fight, it was incredibly satisfying satisfying to see Grimmjow's resurrection form versus Ichigo's hollow form, with them both exchanging some bloody attacks, leaving each other mortally wounded. The fight eventually results with Ichigo as the winner, and what I appreciate about the end of the fight is that Ichigo still has respect for Grimmjow, stopping Grimmjow from falling out of the sky and placing him gently on the ground. Speaking of Grimmjow, Grimmjow is easily one of the best characters in Bleach. He has a clear superiority complex and appears as a rival to Ichigo, someone who forces Ichigo to improve or else he'll die. Not only does he have some phenomenal fights with Ichigo, especially their final fight, he is also an entertaining character, believing himself to be superior to everyone. His obsession with fighting and great backstory, along with just how brutal and ruthless he is, makes him an amazing villain. Some examples would be when he incinerates Luffy and then just starts manically laughing, or when he completely obliterates the top half of Manoli when looking for Orihime, then minutes later threatens to do the same to Lolly. He's pretty psychotic. I like how Grimmjow also gets Orihime to heal Ichigo from the brink of death, just so he can be the one to fight him to the death. Grimmjow's great, but a lot of the other characters that have been introduced in Bleach are also amazing. Like Ulquiorra, whose character design is one of the best in Bleach so far. He lacks any emotion and kills without remorse. He is one of the most heartless characters to be added to Bleach. I like Ulquiorra for the most part, as he has some incredible moments, like when he blasts a hole through Ichigo's chest, leaving him on life support, but his lack of expressiveness makes him less entertaining than Grimmjow for me. Slazapro is another amazing character. Even though I've only seen him for a short time, he has already become one of my favorite characters, with one of his craziest moments being when he eats one of his own subordinates.
This is how you eat a Big Mac, nigga.
I also found the Vizards to be an entertaining group of characters, with just how unique and different a lot of them are. They do a great job at seamlessly introducing a new form for Ichigo to achieve, with them teaching him how to use holification, a form combining the power of a Soul Reaper and Hollow, which is really cool and makes for some of the best fights in Bleach yet. I also can't forget about Nell, Pesce, and Donda Chaka, who do a great job at providing comedy throughout the second and third Arrancar arc. All these characters are incredibly distinct from one another, from their designs to their personalities. Let me say, I honestly couldn't be more thankful to be back in canon Bleach, because there is a huge improvement in not just the animation, but also the art quality. The characters' faces have also made another leap, with more detail being put into their faces along with a more streamlined design, with characters like Orihime having a complete overhaul in their face to the point where it looks unrecognizable from how awful it was at the start of Bleach. The character designs in general are also the best that Bleach has had so far, with more detail being put into the appearances of these characters. Bleach's art style is one of my favorites, and the improvement in the art quality helps to accentuate what makes it great. From watching Bleach, it's very clear that Studio Pierrot love to focus their animation on their fights, which is great and makes for some incredible moments. Bleach has made huge strides in improving its animation and art quality to a point where it clears a lot of the anime coming out at the time, especially for late 2007 and early 2008, where the only anime that surpasses Bleach animation is Gurren Lagann, which is a masterpiece and definitely deserves its own video at some point. Obviously, this is not a fair comparison with these two shows being completely different, but I still thought I should point out just how good Bleach's animation is for the time period. As amongst its contemporaries of Naruto Shippuden and One Piece, Bleach's animation is superior. Although Naruto Shippuden is close, with the first season of Shippuden being animated the best. If there was something that was sorely missing from Bleach throughout the Bound arc, it was Bleach's sense of comedy, which did a great job of balancing out all the dark moments in Bleach. As without the comedy, it really hurts the experience, as it left everyone with less of a personality. And I'm proud to say that it's back and better than ever. And its impact is immediate, as Kon's joke right at the start of the Arrancar arc helped set the tone that Bleach had set before the Bound arc.
I miss being in your body. All that peeping in windows and under skirts didn't ruin my reputation. It only ruined yours.
Damn it, Cone!
They also introduced more comedic relief characters, those being Donda Chaka, Nell, and Pesce, with Pesce easily being the best out of the three, with just how self-aware he is at times, with him recognizing himself as the comedic relief character, and how he intentionally mispronounces Uryu's name. Then there's Donda Chaka. I find him to be annoying, although his classic line is pretty funny whenever he says it, and he does a great job of annoying Renji. Lastly, there's Nell, who is a massive masochist, and gets some funny reactions out of Ichigo with some of the stuff she says. In fact, all the comedic relief characters that have been introduced do a great job of making the main cast funnier and more entertaining. The comedy throughout Bleach plays such a crucial role in making these characters feel more natural and alive, with even Grimmjow having some comedic moments. Bleach's ability ability to balance its comedy and dark moments together so that one doesn't overpower the other is incredible. Even the soundtrack gets better in the Arrancar arc, with a lot of the fight music being amazing, especially in the Chad fight. Then there's the Espada theme, which is one of the best themes of Bleach, almost as good as Ichigo's. The openings are also some of the best. Opening 6 is a solid opening, but opening 7 is honestly one of the best anime openings ever, with the shot of all the Espada sitting at the table being ingrained in my head for the rest of my life. I don't know if any other Bleach opening can top it. The voice acting in this arc was incredible, with some of the pre-Veron Espada doing an amazing job at showing emotion, which helps to humanize the Espadas, especially in the aftermath of the Chad vs Guttenbein fight, where Guttenbein sounds genuinely concerned for Chad. So finally, it's time for the big question: is Orihime's voice acting good in Bleach yet? Yes, it is, which leaves the number of bad voice actors at 1. I honestly don't know when it happened, but her voice acting is solid and her delivery in the emotional moments is great and helps enhance the moment instead of ruining it, especially throughout her torture sequence and during her love confession to Ichigo, which is one of the best love confessions I've seen in anime. The confession was honest to Orihime and fit perfectly with her overall personality. I also enjoy how the confession didn't come out of nowhere, as Orihime's jealousy of Rukia was a driving factor, and the breaking point being when she is forced to go to Hueco Mondo by Ulquiorra and is only allowed to visit one person before leaving. And with the possibility that she may never see any of her friends again, she chose the person she loves the most, Ichigo, which is a truly heartwarming moment. This also highlights how smart Aizen is, as because he let Orihime say goodbye and leave a note behind, it tricked the Soul Captains into thinking she left on her own terms and that she's a traitor, and because of this they refused to help rescue her, which is a crazy moment, especially since I didn't see it coming at all. This revelation leaves Ichigo in a state of shock and ends up heavily affecting his mental state, with him blaming himself for not being able to protect Orihime. Seeing Ichigo in this state really made me feel bad for him and miss seeing normal Ichigo. Throughout Bleach, Ichigo has always been trying to protect his friends from danger, and it's in these Arrancar arcs where he's finally able to see his friends as allies rather than people needing his protection, with Chad and Iryu proving to Ichigo in Hueco Mondo that Ichigo can depend on them when the time comes. And I love that both Renji and Rukia showed up to help Ichigo, even though that went against the Soul Society's order not to interfere, showing just how good friends they are to Ichigo. It made me really happy when they showed up. Together, they enter Hueco Mondo in rescue of Orihime. But by the end of the Arrancar arc, Rukia is dead, Chad is dying, Renji and Iryu are still waiting for Slazaparo, and Ulquiorra is still trapped in Florida. But at least Ichigo and Orihime are safe for now. Overall, this is easily the most enjoyment I have gotten out of Bleach yet. While there are some dull fights like the Iryu fight between Shirichi, where it's just certified running simulator for 90% of the fight, it is completely overshadowed with just how amazing everything else is. From the characters to their voice acting, from the art quality to the animation quality, from the hype fights to the emotional moments, everything about the Arrancar arc is a huge improvement from what I've seen previously, and I'm excited to see how it continues. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and I can't wait to see you all next time.